Hello, I'm Emma Rutherford, founder of the Natural Canine Kitchen. I am a functional canine dietary consultant, meaning that I formulate fresh and raw pet foods worldwide. I interviewed four experts, a research scientist, and three integrative or holistic practicing vets due to the current pandemic that we find ourselves in. So, what I've seen is that we've been vaccinating cows from coronavirus for a very long time. So, there's many different types of coronaviruses. Is it linked to SARS or this sort of thing? Do you know much about it?
Not that I'm aware of, but they're comparing, pandemics, epidemics,
From
of the
past?
various types, from the plague to modern day.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a huge family of coronaviruses that affect various species, cattle and cats being some of the most common.
Mm.
In dogs, coronavirus is often a co-infection with parvovirus, and
Ah,
but really doesn't cause much disease itself on
yeah.
its own.
So, do you know why this is different? Why are people panicking so much about dogs? Can dogs get infected? Do we know? Is it a hard line in the sand? No, they're not going to pass it to us. Is it zootonic? Do we know these things yet?
We know some. We know it probably originated in the wet markets in China. It jumps species, and it does seem to have a very long incubation period, which is one of the reasons it's spreading so effectively because people don't know they're sick
Yeah,
and they're already spreading it.
yeah,
And it is fairly easily spread.
yeah,
But it does, people are saying it lives in the environment for weeks, which is, as I understand it, not true.
yeah.
Probably lives in the environment less than 24 hours.
Mm.
And it's easily removed with soap and water.
Yeah, that easy. That old
That
trick.
easy.
And we were just talking before we started recording, saying at the moment, um, people are saying, they're running out of, liquid soap. Oh my God, what are we going to do? And it's like, there's bars of soap, right? So
Exactly.
it's like, we absolutely, know that there's bars of soap, and it's like we can just use those, can't we?
Absolutely. Soap and water. You can make your own hand sanitizer with alcohol and aloe gel, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah,
Uh, and just don't be foolish.
yeah,
Don't go around people who are sick. If you're feeling ill, stay home.
yeah.
Common sense.
Yeah,
Common sense.
absolute common sense. So, what are your feelings? Because obviously you're in the you're on the front line in the hospital. You can't just say, "I don't think I'll treat your dog today. I feel a bit nervous about it." You can't do that. So, what are you doing personally as a precaution? Are you doing anything just keep yourself healthy, or
Keep yourself healthy. Get your sleep. Don't get run down.
yeah,
Um, Try to de-stress.
mm,
And of course, as I was in the throes of trying to reschedule my event, I felt my stress level going through the roof.
yeah, and then you're
And
susceptible to getting something. Yeah,
exactly, and I wasn't sleeping well. And so, it's time to amp up your meditation habits, grab your herbal tea, go for a walk, whatever works for you
yeah.
to just breathe.
Yeah, that's
Because
great advice. Great advice. I know it sounds like really simple, everyone, but it really is important that we are I'm always saying, be the captain of your ship. We get very focused on our pets. Will my dog be all right? Will my cat be all right? What am I going to do? But if we focus on our own health, then we're a good way there because we are strong enough to be able to look after them if things go wrong. And I suppose we do have to do a bit of preparing, I guess. So if one of you gets it and you're at home, what do you what advice do you give to someone with your pets, because you've got to keep them moving and fed and all the rest of it? What can you have as a sort of contingency plan? Have you got any advice on that?
Uh, yes. Part of the issue at our house is we live with my mom, who is 83.
That's a
So,
worry. That's a real worry.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if one of us gets sick, and it's interesting, I ran into my ex-husband in the parking lot of the grocery store this morning,
Hmm.
and he used to be the head of the Department of Health for our state, and he just retired, but his wife still works for the Department of Health. And I
Yeah.
rolled down the window and I said, "Hey, how worried do we need to be?"
Mm.
And he said, "Well, you should be concerned, not panicked, but concerned."
Right.
And he said, "But I will tell you, the best defense that we have is hand washing. And hand washing for the 20 seconds, not for the quick rinse
Not
under
quick,
the water.
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is
So
literally
proper, what I
you
call
need to do
proper
proper
surgery. Yeah.
yes, antibacterial at
Up
least
here.
20 seconds.
Yeah.
So tons and tons of that going on. A mask will only help if you are coughing or sneezing. It's not going to keep you from, like, we don't not all need to be walking around with masks, but if you are coughing or sneezing or ill, then you should wear one to protect, droplets
Everybody
from
else.
flying to other people.
Because we have eyes and things. I think people haven't worked out that we've got eyes and they can take things in as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for our pets, and I've been getting a lot of emails from people. And one of the first emails I got, the woman had gone to the grocery store. This was last week, and she said there was no meat, zero meat in the grocery store. And she said, I cook for my dogs all the time. I need a backup plan. She said, what kibble could I feed my dogs? And she says, I hate to ask this because I know you are so against kibble. And I said, look, times are different right now.
Yeah.
We're in a dilemma. I said, so what I would recommend is, first of all, maybe call up one of the local pet stores and say, what do you have available? They may have frozen raw, freeze-dried raw, canned food, things that are still a little better than maybe going to a kibble. But the good news is she was at least asking me, if you had to choose a kibble, what would you choose? And I gave her
good stuff.
I gave her 4 or 5 brands, and I said, what I would recommend is if you have to go to feeding kibble, can you put a little bit of fresh food topper on there?
Yeah.
Can you steam some veggies? Can you add an egg?
Yeah.
What can you find that you could add to at least make the nutrition come up in that level just a little bit?
So what would you add? So come on then, let's start. So I love asparagus and broccoli and greens.
Yes.
I'm not a massive carrot fan, but what would you add? I mean, I was saying, you could probably go like for a duck egg. You don't have to have hen's eggs, right?
Yes. Yeah. So any kind of eggs. And so I have a list of superfoods that I tell people, look, if you're going to feed kibble, could you at least meet me part way and add these things?
Yeah.
So the dark leafy greens, which leafy greens include things like broccoli. So broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, kale, collards, dandelion greens, any of that stuff. Yeah. It does need to be processed in some way in order for the dogs to really digest it. So sauteing it in a little coconut oil, running it through a food processor. If you don't have coconut oil, a nice olive oil would work.
Mine love it steamed. Mine all have their veggies steamed. They like it a bit steamed. So I do just a little tiny bit of water and maybe like a little bit of goat's butter, run that through, make it all tasty, and then like, exactly. So it's a different way, we've got to stretch the food. We might be using a kibble or a canned food, and we feel it's all a bit alien to us, but that's at least adding some freshness to the bowl, isn't it?
Yes. So I love eggs. I love blueberries, cranberries, those fresh berries, if you can get them, for the antioxidants. And we're going into spring and summer season here, so all that stuff is going to be much more abundant.
Yeah.
I love sardines, and so we should still be able to get sardines in a tin.
Yeah.
When we were at the grocery store this morning, I looked and I said, oh, look, they had these nice little packages of frozen sardines.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So those are just, canned pumpkin, if you can get that, not the mix, just plain pumpkin, or even fresh squashes like the butternut squash, acorn squash, zucchini, yellow squash, and those kinds of things. Those are all just really packed with great vitamins for our pets that really make a difference.
Absolutely,
if we're having to change what we're feeding just because if we can't get out. So, if we all end up like they are in Italy and Spain, like we're stuck in our houses, and I don't want to be one of those people who's out, stocking up on a cart full of toilet paper. I don't understand the toilet paper thing. But
no, I don't think anybody does.
Nobody does.
Anybody is understanding what that was about. Yeah.
It's beyond me. But I finally made Hugh go with me this morning. I said, honey, we need to have 2 weeks worth of stuff in this house. We happen to have a freezer filled with frozen raw food for our dogs. Yeah. I also have cases of freeze-dried raw. I have cases of some boxed human-grade foods for them.
Yeah.
I have cases of canned and freeze-dried raw for my cats.
Yeah. I've had a couple of emails myself this week, people saying, I titer test my dog routinely, and I'm worried that if I take them to the park, they're going to get something extra because there's, sometimes that paranoia sets in, there's something weird in the air. So people that ordinarily have had a titer test that says that their pets have immunity, then they want to rush out and go and get a booster or start again because they're panicking that they think there's something in the air that dogs are going to get again. What's your advice on that one?
No, nothing's changed for dogs.
Yeah. And cats.
Keep calm, carry on.
Yeah.
The dogs, don't even worry about yourself. Work on yourself, work on your immunity, get out, get some fresh air. If you're worried, stay away from people. Take your dog for a walk. It's a great opportunity for you to get fitter, for the dog to get fitter, because, if you're self-isolating for 14 days, they're not saying stay in your house. You can take your dog for a walk, okay? Just avoid crowds. And if you do chat to people, maybe just keep your distance. It's only for 14 days during that self-isolation period, but there really is no need to panic.
Yeah. So what sort of things would you suggest people do to boost their own immune systems? What sort of things do you do?
Their own immunity. Well, I'm not a doctor, so I don't listen to what I say.
No, but just your personal, what you would do.
Yeah. Well, I've just done an Instagram post on Holistic Vet UK, and the very clever James Di Nicolantonio has put two recommendations how to acutely boost your immune system, and he's saying elderberry.
Oh yeah,
spirulina, vitamin C, N-acetylcysteine, NAC, and glycine. Okay, and these are all things that you can order from Amazon or you can get from the chemist or whatever it might be. And that's really wonderful. If you want to give your body a short, sharp burst, maybe coming down with a bit of a sniffle, then those would be really wonderful. I'll just read those out again. Elderberry, spirulina, vitamin C, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and glycine. Okay, so that's for acute immune boost. You take that over a week or two, just give you
just a short burst. Don't have to take it forever.
a boost.
Yeah.
For more long term, to help your immune system long term, he's saying make sure you're eating plenty of food with zinc and copper content.
Oh yeah.
And a really great answer. Well, spirulina is going to help you with those for zinc and copper, but also seaweed is very good with zinc and copper, and also leafy greens. But you know what? Leafy greens is the answer to practically every question.
And they're probiotic. They are probiotic just by coming out of the earth. They are probiotic, aren't they? So they're fabulous. I love greens. So. Any brassicas I love.
Brassicas are fabulous. So chlorella, beta glucans,
mushrooms.
Selenium again, leafy greens, seaweeds, great green vegetables. You cannot get enough green vegetables in this lifetime. Really go to town on that.
First of all, COVID-19 is spread by coughing and sneezing. It can infect anybody with those droplets within 6 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay? Now, so if someone that's infected but not sick, if they're sick, they shouldn't be anywhere. They should be being treated, right?
Yeah.
If they're not sick, they can spread the droplets on surfaces, like any kind of surface in your home, or say on the fur of a pet, okay? It's not going to last long there. So if you happen to be in a crowded situation, which we tell you try to avoid these days if you can, and you're in a pet grooming or boarding facility, and you feel that people that were ill or living in the household of someone that was ill, a healthy person in the household brings the pet to a boarding or grooming facility, and could there be anything on their fur that was infectious, okay? First of all, what do? You don't kiss the animal. You can pet it, but you immediately then wash your hands in hot soapy water for at least 20 seconds, and then don't touch your face. Don't touch your nose, your mouth, or your eyes, because that's how this virus gets in. It's not like the canine coronavirus, which is an enteric virus that affects the bowel. And that's what the coronavirus vaccine does. It only protects against the enteric or bowel form of coronavirus. It has nothing to do with the respiratory form of the viruses.
Because
so there's no
We do have a vaccine, don't we, for cows for coronavirus? I think there is something.
Pigs.
Yeah.
Have one for pigs. There are, but none of those are the same thing as the upper respiratory disease virus of COVID-19. Now, the pigs have a respiratory disease, but that causes reproductive failure too. We're not getting it from pigs.
Yeah.
This is not like the flu.
Yeah.
Remember, the Asian flu is a combination of bird, pig, and human influenza viruses that coalesced and have been mutating now for about 25 years.
Wow. Wow. It's quite scary for a lot of people, isn't it? People are saying, oh, you're gonna get so ill, and people are worried they're gonna die, and giving up dogs, and everything. It's such mass panic.
Well, there's 100,000 cases of COVID-19 and 4,000 deaths. So that's 3 to 4% death rate, and those are people that are older, have chronic illnesses, or are immunocompromised. Now, if you look at SARS and MERS, the infection rate was much lower and the death rate was proportionately lower. But they're related coronavirus. So what is this? Every period, a certain number of years, infectious diseases circulate in the world community.
Yes.
And because we have such global access to transportation these days, we're going to be much more globally affected than we would have been when infectious diseases were contained, because people didn't travel by airplane or trains or buses the way they do today.
Yeah, very different. So some people may not know you have you live part of the time in California, and you live part of your time in Venice, Italy, and you've not long been back from Venice, have you? What was it like there when you were there? Was it really quiet? Were people worried?
Horrible. The Italian country is bankrupt right now.
Yeah.
Their borders are closed. All the merchants are not allowed to be open. Never mind the fact that people have no work and therefore they have no income, because most of these small private places don't pay when the people don't show up at work. So how are they going to survive? In the Piazza San Marco, which is the main tourist attraction of Venice, it was deserted. There were 4 or 5 people. There were none of the kiosks selling things or whatever. In our community, in our synagogue last Saturday, there were 5 people.
No, really? Wow.
Meet a forum to have bring out the Torah.
Yeah.
People said, well, if you go to a gathering like a synagogue, surely you can't touch the Torah. It would be infectious. Well, forget it. We left Venice. First of all, we self-locked down for 2 weeks when we were in Venice. We didn't go anywhere but to buy food. We got cabin fever, no question. It was very depressing because the economy is just tanking, okay?
Yeah, very sad.
So there's an economic downturn of this that is devastating for the world. So we left Venice 2 days before they shut the border. We went to Oslo, where I taught last weekend. There are no cases there, but the Prime Minister of Norway just shut Oslo, going in or coming out, whether you're healthy or not.
Yeah. We
left Oslo to go to Amsterdam 2 days before they closed the Norwegian border.
Yeah.
We got to Amsterdam. We flew back to LA, KLM. When we got there, the people said, privately, as we were walking by, oh, KLM, no problem. They never asked us a thing.
So they have no idea that you've been in Italy. It's crazy.
Pretty sloppy. We would have told them the truth. We were healthy. It wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
But they never asked us anything.
Yeah. So this is a real problem, isn't it? So there we have it. The 4 experts giving their opinions on what is happening in the world at the moment. We find ourselves in a pandemic. The world won't be the same again. We will have to find a new normal. Things will go back to normal at some point, but that's not now. We have to listen, we have to look after ourselves, we have to look after those around us. And most importantly, we have to keep ourselves safe. We have to wash our hands. We have to make sure that we have food and that we can continue life as we knew it before. We don't know what the future holds at the moment. It's pretty scary. But I know one thing. My dog will always be by my side for as long as it lives, and I will feed it as best I can.